Peace and love, friends and family. Welcome back to another episode of the Highly Emotional Podcast. I wanted to do things like a little different this time. Let me get my background music pumping up a little bit. So what I realized is that a lot of people on the spiritual journey, when we first become enlightened, when we first become awakened, a lot of us have a hard time adjusting to what we realize is the matrix, what we realize is the construct, what we realize is the hive mind. And a lot of us, what we think the spiritual journey isn't really the spiritual journey. We think that the spiritual journey is supposed to be like this. You think that when you're spiritual, your peace, love, and light, positivity, you got your angel wings, you got your halo, you got all these things. And then when you go down the spiritual journey, you start picking up stuff like this, right? Great book. Here's another one, right? Here's another one. Well, let me get it right. Boom. Right? And when you read this stuff, you start thinking like, oh, I gotta be perfect. I gotta be great. I gotta be the best human being there ever was. I gotta be Jesus-like. And that becomes the issue, is that when we first take on the spiritual journey, a lot of us, we try to refrain from being who we were programmed to be. And a lot of times when you break it down, you start to realize you never knew who you truly were. So you have a hard time where you become at war. When I first became enlightened, bro, I became vegan. I would meditate every day. I stopped wearing my chains. I took all my rings off because I thought this would make me more spiritual. This would raise my vibration. This would elevate my consciousness. But that was a lie. When you get into the spiritual community, right? You see all these spiritual people. You think that all these people have the answer. Like, man, let me go listen to this person. Let me tune into this person. This person seems to be captivating spirituality. But when you do the research and you start paying attention, a lot of people are pushing they're pushing spiritual propaganda. And the thing about spiritual propaganda is that you go through this issue where you start thinking that the world is gonna end. I'm the reptilians, the Anunnaki, this and that. The food is poison. You start thinking all these things, and then you're like, I gotta escape the matrix. How can I get out of the matrix? How can I escape? How can I be who I really am? And so therefore you start to think like, what am I spiritually? Who am I? Am I really this person that was given this name? Am I this flesh? Am I a piece of energy? Am I God? Am I love? Am I light? Am I positivity? Have I been doing the wrong thing my entire life? And when I started to notice all these things about myself, I realized that I was living in a mind state of escapism. I was trying to escape from being who I am, who I authentically am. So therefore, I would pretend that I was this great person. Hey, brother, peace and love. Hey, we don't say good morning, we say grand rising, right? You start thinking all these things, but the more that you do the research, the more that you dive into this bullshit or into this spiritual wokeness or wokeism, you realize that it's BS. It's just bullshit. People are pushing spiritual propaganda and trying to make you subscribe to their narrative that they're trying to push because they want to control you. They'll sell you all this bullshit. Oh, buy this, buy that, buy this, install in my course, this and that. So you think that if you install in this course or you join this cult or you do this and you do that you're going to become more spiritual. I've done it. I've went to the events. I've been a part of these people's entourage. I've done all these different things. I've sat and I observed. And then I sat and I had to ask myself, is this really spirituality? Is this what it is? Are we really supposed to be taking advantage of other people's faith? What about my faith? What about what I believe in? You're pushing the toxic masculinity. You're pushing, oh, the superior man. You need to be a man. The crazy thing about this, the way of the superior man isn't even about being toxic masculinity. It's not about being this super strong man. It's actually about learning how to operate in feminine and masculine energy. And I realized today, as I was with my children, I started realizing what the way of the superior man was actually about. I realized that when it came to my children, like my daughter, for example, she, in her feminine essence, was trying to conquer me with her sexuality. That sounds fucking weird, right? Tell me about it. At first, when I first heard this, I thought it was this sexual thing, right? And I was like, who the fuck would say something like that? But then I realized that when it came to her femininity, right, she would use her beauty, right, her kindness, right, and her touch. But not only that, she would use her voice. Daddy, can you please do this? And I realized that she was doing this without knowingly. She's not trying to, she's not trying to court me or some weird shit like that. What she is, because she's a feminine being and it's her birthright, she was using her authentic self to compromise who I am and my masculine nature, because she realized she can't approach me in a masculine way. She can't be aggressive because I'm the biggest, strongest, superior being that she perceives in her reality at the moment. So therefore, without her knowingly, she manipulated me by lowering her tone, not screaming, well, Daddy, can I please get this? Daddy, can I do that? And I was like, yo, this is so crazy that I didn't realize that my daughter was compromising me in my masculinity by being so cute, cuddly, and beautiful in her own nature. But then I realized something else. When she would go to my son, right, and she would want to get something with him because she doesn't view him the way that she views me, then she would step into her masculinity, and then she would say, Mari, give me this, give me that. The crazy thing about all of us is that we are both. You're feminine and you're masculine. You are a wave in a straight line, all at the same line, at the same size, right? Or same time. There you go. This right here is masculine or femininity, and this is masculinity. The difference is you are both, because when you are in tune with who you are and you are aligned, you realize that you harness both of these things. It's not about sex. It's not about being gay. It's not about that in a sense of sexuality. It's about energy. And so when I would observe how she would react with my son, and my son didn't realize in his sense that he was, hey, MJ, stop. Hey, stop. Hey, MJ, I don't want to do this. And when he got fed up, he would step into his masculine space and he would say, MJ, stop. And then he would tell me, because his own birthright, his masculinity is already installed with him, he would say, Dad, tell her to stop now. He would demand it. And that was the thing. I was like, wow, that's so beautiful. A lot of us, we think that our kids are misbehaving because they step into these spaces. Nah, it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. The thing about it is that when we observe the world, we don't realize that everything's already spiritual. We don't understand that this was a spiritual experience that I didn't even notice before. I didn't even realize that this book that I read literally almost 2 years ago plays out every day. When I first read it, I was like, oh shit, it tells me how to deal with my wife. It tells me how to deal with women. It tells me how to deal with feminine energy. But it taught me actually how the world works in masculine and feminine energy. Also, when I read the Celestine prophecy, it taught me how people manipulate energy based upon their tone, their body language, in order to compromise someone else who is lower, weaker in a sense, right? And compromise their energy to take control of them and their feelings because it makes them feel superior. So this is where I'm getting with this, just in case I lost you a little bit. When I first got into spirituality, I thought that I had to be so perfect and Christ-like. I thought that I always had to be a good person. If someone wanted something from me, wanted me to do something, I had to say yes. I had to just be like, yeah, bro, peace and love, brother, anything, bro, God's way. I had to think that that was spirituality because that is the narrative that they're pushing. They're pushing you're supposed to wear white all the time. You're supposed to wear, linen pants all the time. I do have a pair of linen pants in my mind. They look great on me, right? So the thing about it is that when I started doing the research, I realized that wasn't spiritual at all because I wasn't activating in a place of authenticity. I was forcing myself to be nice in situations where I was quite offended. Why would you think this of me? Why would you think that I'm any less of God than you are or the existence of the world is? I'm not a bad person. We all are. That's the difference. The difference is that people in the spiritual community, people on the spiritual journey claim to be so perfect and know all this information, but yet turn around and they manipulate you because you're fake, because you're searching. You went here, you went there with your faith, with your belief, with your feelings, your emotions. And what did they do? They manipulated you to become a part of their cult. I had somebody that I wanted to be on my podcast, to be a part of what I'm trying to do, to just help anybody who's searching, to search within themselves instead of following me, instead of any of that shit. I wanted to bring them onto my platform. And what they had said to my team is they said, hey, he didn't purchase anything from me yet. He did not buy anything from me. In order for me to be a part of what he has going on, hey, I have to sell him something. And I looked at it like this and I was like, damn. So in order for us to save the world, because that's what the spiritual journey feels like. It feels like you have to be the hero. You have to save everybody, right? That's bullshit. And so when he said this, I was like, damn, is he really spiritual? Because a conversation is a conversation. If you want to have a conversation with me, I'm not going to charge you. Now, if you want to understand my context, you can buy my book. You can buy my book because then if you spend your money, then you're willing to read it because you're not going to let your money go to waste. So that was my thing, is like, I started looking up to certain people and I was like, damn, how spiritual is he if he's not willing to share his story with the world for free? Jesus did it. Buddha did it. Hey, Muhammad did it. Krishna did it. They didn't charge you a service to share their message. The people who manipulated their message got money off of it, and that was the thing. So like I'm experiencing this spiritual journey, and I'm observing all these things, and I'm like, damn. Every time I get into this spiritual place, this place in which I want to like work and create with these people, I'm always combated with some type of energy that pushes me away. It reminded me of the music industry. How come when I know I'm a great talented artist, why do I have to beg and plead in order to work with this type of person? One crazy thing is a lot of times they sleeping on their parents' couch with a big ass chain. What makes them more superior than me? And that became my question. I was like, yo, what makes this person more spiritual than me? I'm on my spiritual journey. I'm vegan. I meditate twice a day. I have a story. I have a message. I wear my stones. I'm doing all these great things. I'm giving back to the community. Me and my wife are feeding the homeless. I'm a father. I'm teaching my kids these valuable lessons. But what I didn't realize is that I was trying to be something that I'm not. Because it does not make me spiritual if I just force myself to be light all the time. It doesn't make me spiritual if I'm vegan. It doesn't make me spiritual if I meditate every day. It doesn't make me spiritual if I fast. What makes you spiritual is your spirit. Having a spirit is what makes you spiritual. You can do all this shit. You can fast, you can do all this, and you still can be a shitty person. I've seen it, I observed it with my own eye because I am a great studier. I ask a lot of questions, and if I don't ask them directly, I ask them to myself, and then they're downloaded from the universe, and my intuition shows me and reveals to me what the truth is every single time. And so that's the crazy thing, is like when you get lost into the spiritual journey, you start reframing and pushing aside who you are. And this is what we're getting into. There's more, right? So when I was forcing myself to be this peace-loving, light-ass nigga, this positivity, pushing positivity, and listen to people pushing propaganda, one thing I started to notice is that when I would fast for 5 days or 10 days or vegan and meditate, I would put myself in a place where I was on a high horse. I started thinking I was better than other people. I started saying, hey man, this nigga saying good morning still, you a slave. I can't save you. Hey, you don't meditate, my nigga? Hey, you a slave. Hey bro, you still drinking liquor and throwing money at strippers and listening to this and doing that? You a fucking slave. I started thinking that. I really thought that I was better. Man, hey, I won't talk to this nigga. He ain't on a spiritual journey. What we gonna talk about? And then I realized I would refrain from connecting with people because I realized we had nothing to talk about. You want to talk about the trends in social media. You want to talk about societal constructs in which I have been grown out of because I've been removed myself from those type of environments. But yet, that was me not being spiritual. I wasn't being spiritual. Because if there is an opportunity in which you can save someone, hey, even if you plant a seed, do it. It's free information. You might be that seed that was planted 5 years ago that helped somebody find their spiritual journey. So what I realized is while I was doing this, while I was being quote unquote spiritual and peace, love, and light, I was neglecting my shadow. And my shadow within me was like, nigga, I'm angry. Hey bro, I want to break something. I want to punch something. I want to scream. I want to cry. I want to vent. I want to address my feelings when I'm grieving. I want to do all this. And my life said, hey, we not on that. We on light time. We not on shadow time. And so my shadow was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna sit back and watch and see how you do it. And then slowly but surely, all of the things and people in my life started become further away. I started distancing myself. People started disassociating themselves with me. Oh, Tuesday thinks he's perfect because he's spiritual and he became enlightened and this and that. He thinks he knows everything. He thinks that he understands this. And I didn't realize that I was flawed at the time. I was like, man, fuck it. And you're not understanding of what I'm saying. You're not listening. You're not understanding. You're not overstanding what I'm saying. Fuck you. I don't need you in my life. But I was doing a disservice to me. Because I realized everything that I judge about other people is really me judging me. And when people judge me, all they're doing is venting. They're shedding light on who they are because they're not acknowledging the shadow version of themselves. So this is what the conversation is actually about. The conversation is, I realized that I was neglecting my shadow. And when I started to neglect my shadow was lurking in the background. Nigga was walking around like, hey yo, can I come out and play? Yo, is it time? And I was like, nah, bro, I'm peace, love, and light, bro. I'm vegan now, bro. I'm doing right now, right? That became my mind state. And then it got to a point where everybody stopped talking to me. Everybody started thinking I was weird. And then my shadow said, fuck it. Hey, you want to keep neglecting me? Well, I'm going to show you what it is. Because you're going to need me. And at some point, my shadow took over. So if you really pay attention to my videos on my podcast, you realize that I went from skinny to rough looking, dressing all fancy, to gaining weight, to having my hair done, to not done. All these things, to enraged, to crying, to venting about my trauma, all these things. My shadow said, hey, you're not going to duck me forever. You're going to have to learn to work with me because you keep on ducking me thinking you this peace-loving, light-ass nigga. Hey, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you you need me. And so here I was at a place constantly going back and forth with myself. Damn, why the fuck do I feel depressed even though I'm peace, love, and light? If I'm meditating every day, why do I feel sad? If I'm hugging trees, why do I feel like shit? If I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then finally, boom, my shadow got so neglected that it engulfed my light. And I reverted back to what I was running from. I started eating unhealthy. I started drinking again. I started sugar. Not going to the gym, not taking care of myself, not mentally focusing and connecting with God within me. And then it started crashing. And what I realized is that the spiritual journey isn't even about just being shadow or just being light. It's about integrating your light and integrating your shadow. And being or using alchemy to define your reality. So here's the thing. I had to figure out how to integrate my shadow into my everyday life. How do you do that? How do you do that shit anyways? How do you even, when you want to be this good person, you want to be peace, love, and positivity and all these things, when you want to be that, how do you integrate your shadow? Because I feel like the moment I show my shadow, that's when people judge me and say that I'm a bad person. How do you integrate your shadow? Well, I realized that I had to find a sacred space in which I can integrate my shadow. And here it was, right in front of me. I had to learn how to integrate my shadow every single day by sitting with my shadow and say, hey, what is it that you want to do? Hey, I'm angry. Why are you angry? Well, shit, nigga, I'm angry because when you was 5 years old, your mom did you this way. Or, hey, when you was 16 years old, hey, your dad treated you like shit. Hey, and then when you was 20 years old, hey, they broke your heart and, hey, they played with your emotions and your mind state. I want to be angry and I want to break shit. And I want to destroy shit, nigga. That's what you really want to do, bro? You sound like you about to crash out. Hey, because I am, and if you don't let me out, hey, fuck that light shit. We back outside, nigga. And then I said, all right, boom. So how can I let you loose? And this is what my shadow said. Hey, you know when you wake up in the gym? Hey, make sure you go on the days where you feel like shit. Because those are the days that I'm going to show up and I'm going to take over. We're not going to be pushing no light weights. We're going to push the real ones, the ones that make you want to cry. Hey, when you out here and you think that you glitched out, hey, cut that game on. Cut that PlayStation on. What you mean cut the PlayStation on, nigga? We wasting time. That's what my shadow said. My shadow said, cut the game on. My light said, hey, nigga, that's a waste. You wasting time. Like, we got to save the world. Nah, hey, bro. I need to be somewhere. If I'm going to be somewhere, cut the game on. Cut the studio on. Cut the beat on. Cut the paper on. I got to be integrated in your life because you need me. I'm here to protect you from those people taking advantage of you because your whole entire life, you always been light. And I had to come and clean up the mess when you let them break you down. That's what my fucking shadow said. That's what people don't understand. People don't understand that you have to integrate your fucking shadow. So when I get on a game and I get on 2K or I get on Fortnite or I get on Call of Duty or I get on any game like that and I'm in a game chat and I hear somebody say, hey, fuck you, bitch ass nigga. And my shadow say, what, nigga? Hey, it sound like your house empty. It sounds like you chasing temporary gratification. Actually, did you grow up in a single parent home? Because right now you sound like a single black woman. Is that your fire alarm beeping? My light is like, yo, you supposed to be nice. My shadow once again. Hey nigga, you not gonna make it to next year. You ain't gonna see GTA 6. My light. Hey bro, you gotta chill, bro. But my shadow said, hey, where else you want me to be? And the crazy thing is, hey, I'm using everything that you taught me, Mr. Light. I'm sitting here opening people up to make them realize, hey, when you speaking in that loud tone, but it's a low tone, it's a low frequency, hey, you really speaking from a dark place. And it's based upon your programming. And so my light said, hold up. You might be on to some shit. Oh, bro. Okay, I get it. So this is your realm, the shadow realm, the dark realm, the lower vibrational realm. You got to get in there. You got to open up people's brain and say something that is going to decode or break through their matrix, their construct, their low vibration, hive mind living culture. You have to break through it. And when you offend them, you ruffle their feathers and then you drop the knowledge on them. It's genius. It's genius. So here's what I'm telling you. You neglect your shadow will compromise you. If you are spiritual and you have a spirit, you're already spiritual, so you can never be less spiritual. But the key to spirituality, the key to all this shit is consciousness. When you realize that your shadow has taken over, right? Let's go back to it. Right? When you realize that your shadow is starting to take over, you integrate it. You address it. You confront it. You ask it, why is it dealing with things this way? And what is it needs? What does it want to eat? What does it want to talk about? Where does it want to go? But what you don't do is settle for just being your shadow. Because now that you are conscious and you are enlightened, you know when you're doing too much. You know when you're doing too much light shit. Your shadow kicks in. Your shadow kicks in and say, hey, you being taken advantage of, bitch. And when you sit in there and you doing too much low vibrational shit, your light kicks in and says, hey, I think you fucked up right there. And I think you need to reflect. I think you need to backtrack some of the things that you said or explain it. Because when you are just compromised by your low vibrational state of mind or your hive mind or your frequency of low energy, your light always reveals itself. Hey, you're gonna have to bounce back. You're gonna have to forgive yourself. You're gonna have to ask the people that you love, can they forgive you? And you have to always hold yourself accountable. That is spirituality. That is consciousness. Fuck the pushing propaganda. You want to really be spiritual? You really want to transform your reality? You really want to save yourself? You really want to transcend and be the best version of yourself? That's what it's about. It's about holding yourself accountable. Fuck everything else. Fuck all the bullshit that niggas is telling you. Fuck all the religious antics, the pushing propaganda, all that shit. That's not even what it's about. It starts with you and addressing the two versions of yourself, the masculine, the feminine, low vibrational, high vibrational, whatever you want to chop it up to. You gotta address the you inverse. Because when you address that, then you can be aligned. Integrate your shadow. Ask your shadow, hey, where can I put you? Where is a place that you want to, be free? The gym, the studio, writing, running, walking, punching, screaming, How can I integrate you? Because I know that if I neglect you, I know it's going to compromise my life. Your shadow is only there to protect your light, and your light is there to protect your shadow. It's the you inverse, the inverse version of you. So if you are in your shadow mind state, you have to address your light. Don't neglect your light. Your light is always there. Your light is always within you. Your light is always there to question all of your decisions. And the funny thing is, that's God. That is God. God is both of these things. It creates the balance in your reality, because when you are too far left in your shadow, the light kicks on. And when you are too far right in the light, that's when your shadow is going to show up and say, hey, bro, I don't agree with this. Hey, people are taking advantage of you. People are taking advantage of the light within you. So bring it back. Integrate me. Learn how to say no. And this is what it's all about. It's all about shadow integration. So ask yourself now, in this moment, how can I integrate my shadow? Am I already integrating my shadow? Don't compromise. Don't become lazy as fuck and start eating unhealthy and not going to the gym and taking care of your mind state. Don't do that. I've already done it. You don't need to do it. But you do have to integrate your shadow so that you can be truly aligned with who you need to be. Back to everything else. Authenticity is the highest frequency. So if you are not authentically true with yourself, you're at war. A divided being, man, woman, is a conquerable being. So if you're divided, you are easy to take over. And don't allow yourself to be controlled by media. Don't allow yourself to be controlled by lower vibrational. There are fake spiritual people, agents, in the spiritual community. And as they said before, when you are walking with God, you know who your enemy is. And if you feel like people don't like you, and they don't love you, and they don't fuck with you, and they hate you, hey, they felt the same way about Jesus. So it's an honor. And this is what my episode is about. Integrate your shadow. Be the authentic version of yourself. And at the end of the day, only you can save you. And that's what it is. Only you can save you. So till next time, hey, and this is shadow integration. Stones, diamonds, it's who I am. I won't fake it anymore. Peace, love, and light. Until next time. Big Swim.